Resume writing sucks. To fix that, I got an AI to write my resume instead.
I'm so good at producersing.
Digital media producer made bad purchase decisions.
Let me explain. Thanks to Grow with Google for sponsoring a portion of this video. So I'm certain y'all are familiar with the job hunting struggle. Judging by the comments on the video I made about entry-level jobs, you are very familiar. You might even be in French bread. And in my experience, a large source of that pain is resume writing. I remember asking for resume advice and being told that I should write a custom resume for every job I apply for. Which means that if I'm applying for 10 jobs, I should write 10 resumes. What? And let's be honest here, that number's really more like 20 or 30 or more because...
bread.
And you know what? I kind of get it, because resume writing shouldn't be that hard. It's about you and the things that you've done. However, I don't know if it's because writing about yourself is hard, or writing for an unknown person is hard, or writing without knowing if a person is ever gonna see it is hard. I don't know, but I want to find out. So today, in this video, you and I are going to figure out why writing resumes sucks, and hopefully how to fix it. Let's do this. As expected, there wasn't much academic research dedicated to resume writing. I mainly ended up on HR blog posts and hiring boards, but they generally agreed and reduced the problem to 3 parts. Writing is hard, writing about yourself is even harder, and writing to get past an applicant filter is harder still. These are all pretty intuitive, but let's take a closer look, because solutions are often found in direct response to a problem. Starting with, why is writing so hard? Well, this graph shows a recent report of adult English literacy rates in the United States, where most people struggle with processing or combining texts with multiple themes. Resume writing requires summarizing multiple, dense experiences into limited word counts while applying scattered resume advice collected over the years. So while the words that end up on the page may not be complex, the skills required to get there are often the ones we struggle with most. I was kind of surprised reading about literacy levels, and it kind of makes me want to test my own, because I always joke about being illiterate. Well, what if it isn't a joke? But that's a later issue. Let's talk about problem 2. Why is writing about yourself so hard? Now, if we put aside humility and the way that culture, gender, and age may potentially influence the way that we talk about our own achievements, there's something to be said about the fact that just remembering the things that you've done can be difficult. This is due, in part, to context-dependent forgetting. You generally interact with your memories in 2 main ways: when you make them and when you remember them. When you make a memory, you're remembering it in a specific context, like where you were and how you were feeling. Because of this, you seem to remember things better if your retrieval context matches your encoding context. Unfortunately, the opposite is also true. Your memory can be worse if your retrieval context doesn't match your encoding context, and these contexts can differ greatly when resume writing. When you're building experience for your resume, your context is the day-to-day work. You might not even be thinking about how specific tasks can show up on your resume. But when it's time to put those memories to paper, your context, your location, priorities, and focus are totally different. And honestly, this is a really big problem for me because I only update my resume when I need a resume, not when I'm doing the things that I put on the resume, if that makes sense. So I'll just straight up forget things that I've actually done because internship me from 2 summers ago is basically a different person. If you are like me and you aren't actively updating your resume, don't worry, a study has found that visualization can help retrieval. So just imagining yourself in an old internship can potentially help you remember the things that you did. Now, an alternative to that is to get a certificate that says what you've done. Thank you to Grow with Google for sponsoring this portion of the video. Grow with Google is an initiative that provides training, tools, and more to help millions of people build their skills, careers, and businesses. One way they do that is through career certificates. With it, you can earn a credential in data analytics, UX design, project management, and IT. You know, the kinds of skills that employers are looking for in our tech-driven world, but can be really difficult to figure out on your own. Now you can pick them up at your own time, at your own pace, and get a credential to prove it with Google Career Certificates. They're all online and they're on demand, so you can fit learning into your life. In fact, if you set aside just 10 hours a week, you can get a whole new skill in under 6 months. For reference, I spent 11 hours and 1 minute on my phone doing basically nothing just last Sunday. In that same amount of time, I could have been getting a professional certificate for a whole new skill that I can include in my resume. And when I say new, I mean new. These certificates are designed to get beginners job-ready skills. That means no prior experience or degree required. Plus, they offer access to career resources like resume tips, and they can get you access to 150 plus of the top employers who are currently hiring. So, visit grow.google/certificates or click the link in the description to explore Google Career Certificates and start learning today. And remember, whenever you support the brands or products that we endorse, you are also supporting the channel. So thank you. And thank you to Grow with Google for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now back to the main stuff. Finally, the last problem, getting your resume in front of an actual person, because nowadays, that isn't guaranteed. I can't tell you how long it took me to get my parents to understand this concept. Like, you can't just go into places anymore and show them your resume. That isn't an option. Needless to say, we live in a digital age, and your resume often needs to pass through a digital filter called an applicant tracking system, or ATS. Hiring involves accessing a pool of candidates, filtering through applications, scheduling interviews, and more. It can get messy quickly. Applicant tracking systems are a popular solution to optimize and automate this process. In fact, one study shows 99% of Fortune 500 companies use applicant tracking systems. Unfortunately, this comes with a cost. To simplify the experience for employers, an ATS might filter resumes, and as with most automations, it isn't perfect. If your resume has unusual formatting, the machine might struggle to identify key information and consider it missing. If your resume has unusual job titles, the machine might not know if your experience is relevant. If your resume doesn't have keywords the employer wants verbatim on your resume, the machine might not think you're a good fit. Seemingly small issues like this can leave qualified candidates at the bottom of the pile. So that's why resume writing might suck. Writing is a skill, memory is context dependent, and a machine can throw your application out before a human ever considers your existence.
Bread. So much bread.
But can we solve this? Is it time for a garbage experiment with sample size 1? I want to know, what is the right amount of resume effort to get a job? Knowing what we've learned, I've designed 4 levels or treatments of effort. 1, no effort, not customized. It's just the resume that I last used. The last time I applied for jobs, I think I was trying to be a business analyst. Then I had an existential crisis, and now I'm a YouTuber. Number 2, manually customized. So I'll see a job listing and I'll do what I normally do, which is like, try and figure out what the job wants, figure out what I've done, and get them to kiss. Treatment 3, ATS suggestions. There are these services online where you can submit your resume and then they'll scan it. Sometimes they'll even compare it to a job posting. I'm gonna run resume 2 through one of those and then implement any suggestions. Finally, AI, because if a robot can dump my resume in the trash, why can't it write it as well? But also, it's because y'all love AI videos, and I love views. Comment, like, subscribe. Anyway, these represent different levels of effort, from one size fits all to highly customized to I don't even know if this exists. I really just want to see what level of effort gets rewarded with a job, but in order to do that, I need a job to apply to.
Hey, can I ask you for a favor?
I guess. No, what's up? I'm kidding.
So, I need a job. Could you make a job for me?
You need a job.
Yeah?
Home slice, we work together. What job you looking for? You leaving me?
I'm trying to figure out why resume writing sucks. And so I need to write a resume for a job. Now, I'm not trying to leave AIP anytime soon. So, could you just make a job for me that I can apply to? You're gonna be my new employer.
Oh, okay. Is there like a specific field you want to apply to?
Listen, I'm all for applying to things that I am not qualified for. So you get to decide. Let's do this. Bye.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna go write a job posting for Sabrina. I don't exactly know what she's going to be applying for just yet, but I guess that's the beauty of this part of the video that I get to take control over. Yeah, let's write a job posting. Okay. I got ice cream. Boom.
Oh, hello there.
How convenient that I'm recording right now.
I have something for you.
Content, baby.
I think this is the first time that we've actually been on screen together, ever.
Job posting position, my friend. Smiley face. Melissa is looking for a friend to hang out with and responsibilities. Participate in dinner parties with Melissa and assist in dishwashing? Yo, I don't know if I want this. Key skills and qualifications. Ability to marathon rom-coms and unnamed media production about vampires. Sorry, there's a typo. Experience in what, Melissa? Be immaculate vibes. Don't have them, be them. Job type, full-time, start date, immediately. Term? Look at this. Forever. Melissa says you're my friend till you die if you get this job. Compensation. Really good Chucky chip cookie. They're worth it, I promise.
So what do you think about the job posting?
I gotta apply for it for the video, I guess. Don't know if I want it. Okay, so I need to get some resumes together to apply to be Melissa's friend. Let's get resume writing. The first resume was easy to put together. I just needed to find it. I found a typo. I producers over 100 videos. I'm so good at producersing. God, I just hate how I sound on my resume, by the way. Analyzed and implemented knowledge of latest digital trends to create unique online experiences. Who is that? The second resume took a little more work, mainly because the skills outlined on my current resume had nothing to do with the job I'm applying for. I don't have work experience as somebody's friend, for obvious reasons. I'm going to keep all of the same roles and experiences, but I'm just gonna change those little bullet points you're supposed to add and use them to prove that I'd be a great pal. There are jobs on here back in 2015. I'm trying to use visualization to help my memory retrieval, but I don't even know what to visualize. Where was I in 2015? Oh no, my terrible resume voice is coming out. Developed multi-scope budgets and executed on good purchasing decisions? Who are you? This might be the most fun I've ever had writing a resume. I think I've acknowledged most points in Melissa's job posting. But let's see if we run this through an ATS resume scanner, if potentially I could fill in some blanks. The third resume was a bit of a shock given the results of not one, but 2 ATS resume scans. That's not a passing grade. Apparently I'm missing a lot of the important hard skills on my resume. For example, chocolate, cookies, dairy. I started by reformatting my resume because it looked like the scanners weren't picking up a lot of my details. Fixed up the formatting, but now she's kinda ugly. I also packed in a few more words that she used verbatim and sent it in for another scan. I get a score of 74, which is a B, I think. Still doesn't think I have a degree, which is fine. This is a posting for your friend, and that would be a weird requirement to have. But with a score of 74, I think we're good to say that resume 3 is done. Finally, I got an AI to write my resume. Now, I know that some of y'all are excited to see me struggle and ultimately fail to write some code that makes a resume for me, but I don't really want to do that, so I'm just gonna try and see if it already exists on the internet. I found a few services that ranged from promising a full AI ghostwriter to AI-generated prompts. However, one decided that Melissa's job was too weird and decided not to help. What is this? This is not an AI. Another kept asking me to log in, but never moved past that. Might be a scam, might be hacked. Gonna go change my passwords. Another just made me fill my info out all over again. Eventually, I gave up and realized I need to make my own AI.
a new day, and it looks like I need to make a functioning AI. This video's coming out real soon. Really thought that I could trust the internet to do this for me, but obviously not. Classic blunder. So a big thing that I've seen thus far about AI resumes is they kind of take a bunch of other resumes, know what kind of job that they're for, and then suggest different inputs. I don't think that's actually the best way to go about it. I think that an AI resume maker should start off with a job posting. For example, responsibilities, go for morning walks. Well, certainly if I could get an AI to write went for morning walks in one of my job experiences, it wouldn't be a lie. I'm gonna start off by trying to see if there's a way to convert the information provided in a job posting and put it into a resume format. I've been working on this for about 3 hours now. I've made some progress. Step 1, the objective. Older relatives have told me that you're supposed to put an objective in your resume. I thought the objective was obvious. I'm using a mixture of text summary and prompted inputs to make it easier to generate an objective given a job posting. Step 2 is work experiences. Job postings come with a list of responsibilities. I've managed to take those responsibilities and turn them into like past tense phrases of things you've done. Now the problem is that these things kind of exist out of context. So what I'm going to do is use fuzzy matching, which is a thing that exists, to compare all of these job posting actions to things that already exist on my resume. And then once it finds its best match, then we could take that job action and shove it under a pre-existing work experience so that I don't have to sort them. If you know anything about computers, you know that this is a questionable approach. However, I don't care. It's the only one I've got right now. Might not be great, but good enough for me. All right, and I think that we are done. 5 hours and 3 minutes. Not great, but actually surprisingly good. What I have here is far from perfect, but it is a way better proof of concept than I expected to end up with when I started it this morning. So it works through a mixture of prompts and matching between a pre-existing resume and a job posting. All I needed to do to get this, which is a lightly formatted resume, was input my contact information and upload a spreadsheet version of an old resume and a spreadsheet version of a job posting. I know it sounds like that's a lot of work, but it really isn't. Hold on. For example, here's just the transcribed version of resume 1 that you guys saw. It's my completely untailored resume. It was literally just copy pasting. Now it does require some human tweaking if you don't want to sound like a robot, and I'm not gonna lie, this isn't super robust. I haven't tested it out. I only worked on it for 5 hours. But the bright side is that I know that I will always get a resume out of this. One that reflects a job posting and can now just create new resumes for me for new jobs at a click of a button. And that is better than where I was at yesterday. So this is good enough for this video. I think it's time for me to send in my application. For good measure, I ran the AI resume through the ATS scanner again and got marginal improvement. Does this count as gradient descent? Probably not, but anyway, I shipped those resumes off to Melissa for review.
Hello there. Okay, so I guess I have some resumes to review. Let's see which Sabrina we hire. Work experience, creative director, answer in progress. Provide 156 hours of good conversation during weekly meetings. I'm a young professional and ready to be your friend because I also don't want to go through it all alone. Oh, okay. Digital media producer, made bad purchase decisions. Sabrina. Good for them. Cool. I'm gonna call Sabrina and let her know that I'm hiring one of 4 hers.
Hello, I'd like a job. I wore a blouse that used to fit me a lot better than it does right now.
Thank you for sending in your application. After a critical review of all these applications, one of these Sabrinas is hired.
Why am I nervous? I'm so nervous.
The applicant who has been hired, or will be hired, is Sabrina C. Sabrina C understood the assignment. Sabrina Cruz! Everything that I was looking for, I was like, yes, that is exactly what I was asking for in my application. You know, read several good books that can be considered good. Bueno. Honestly, what really caught me was the mission statement. I'm a young person of international background, looking to be a supportive pal to help someone vibe the rough times in life. And I thought that was beautiful.
Could you tell me why the other applicants didn't get it?
There was, not that the other applicants were unskilled or anything, but they just weren't the right fit for the job. Like, I was reading through Sabrina A's. Wow, this is a really high-functioning person. Not right to be my friend.
You cannot be friends with a high-functioning person.
What about Sabrina B?
So this one was interesting, honestly. I skipped over it. I skimmed it very quickly.
Just wasn't the Sabrina C, was it?
No, it wasn't a Sabrina C. I mean, impressive. In university, they attended 3 number 3, close bracket, parties. But you know, there was just something about Sabrina C that just had that je ne sais quoi.
And what about Sabrina D?
I think it just had extra fluff in it that I didn't need to know about. As a human looking for another human to fill the role, Sabrina C was
just the right amount.
Today is your lucky day, or my lucky day. Today's our lucky day. Sabrina C, you're hired. You got the job.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Don't up.
So, what did we learn today? Well, resume writing is frustrating in no small part because of this dual expectation to apply for a lot of jobs, yet customize your resume for each job you apply to. However, understanding the common pitfalls that come with resume writing might help you avoid them. So, maybe practice your writing, use visualizations or certificates to keep your resume accurate, and as we could tell by my ATS scanned resume getting the gig, including keywords or phrases from the posting can give you an edge. Not only on a mechanical level, but it also reflects awareness, or what Melissa called understanding the assignment. Now the bright side is, you probably don't need to write a whole new resume for every job you apply for. Instead, you could use scanners or your own eyes to identify key terms or phrases to include as polish for the applications that you really care about, the ones that are worth the extra time. And hey, look on the bright side, my AI resume didn't get the gig, so even if a robot is trying to take your job, it sure isn't ready to apply. Hey there, I hope you liked that video. If you did, please consider sharing it. It is the biggest way you can help our channel grow. If you like seeing me struggle to make AI, you could check out the playlist over here. And you could catch the code I used in this video in a future newsletter, so be sure to subscribe. Although Patreon supporters will see it first. But either way, have a lovely day.